This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Open phones this hour as we bring common sense to your dollars and cents. In a world where common sense is so rare that having it is like having a superpower. Open phones at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. We're going to start this hour with Baton Rouge. Brett is with us. Hi, Brett. How are you?
Hey, Dave. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Great. Got a question here. Dealing with a little emotional, I guess, sale of possibly some equities that my father had given me when he passed away about 4 or 5 years ago. Owe about $188,000 on the house. Have a 15-year mortgage, just refinanced about a year ago, so I guess 14 left.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had some pretty tremendous gains in the stock since I inherited it. A little over probably $1 million in gains. And I guess he never sold it. I grew up. We never sold it, collected the dividends, and now it's finally reached a point where I think it's in my best option to sell just a piece of it to pay this last piece of debt off. And I guess I just needed some reassurance because I have never once thought about selling it.
Okay. Well, the total investment account of equities is worth what?
$1.6 million.
And $180,000 pays off your house.
Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, like 10%.
Right.
It's like none of it. You're barely touching it.
That's very true. And I guess that was the emotional part of it. Is it was given to me. And, you know, I guess watching him, he just collected dividends. He just held it. And I feel like holding it for these past 4 years has been a tremendous gain. But selling a piece of it, I guess that's it. You somewhat answered it for me right there.
It's a small piece. And now here's the other thing. What this does bring up, though, is it brings up, you know, what your father did with these stocks was... You have to decide, was that his unwritten, unsaid instruction that you should follow no matter what happens, or was it good for him at the time, but he would expect you to think on your own into the future as to whether that's still a good strategy? Which is, I'm guessing number 2 would be the thing. Because it'd be pretty weird for him to look at you and go, never sell these stocks. I mean, that would be something someone would say about the family farm or about the family Bible or about your great-great-great-great-grandfather's musket, you know, or something like that. Never sell. That would make sense. But never sell stocks? Really? No, I don't think he said that, did he?
No, sir. Not at all.
So you're not besmirching his legacy, his intent. He's not in heaven frowning at you if you sold them all and diversified and put them into something else that you believe to be a better investment with good critical thinking skills.
Yes.
Okay.
100%. I agree with you.
So I think you kind of got to get that going because the bulk of my conversation with you before I started, of your explanation to me, was all about what what Papa always did, and it's worked for me. But I want you to be independent in your thinking of his memory. We can honor his memory best by continuing to do good critical thinking thought into the future. This is not a family heirloom. It's stocks.
Correct. Yes, sir.
So, I mean, in other words, if you feel like that these things have run their course and you've had a good run, but you don't really like the future, it'd be okay to liquidate the whole stinking thing and put it in mutual funds and pay off your house. That'd be okay with me. That'd be my tendency, by the way, because I don't play single stocks. I don't like the risk. It's too much risk for me. But you have to work through the emotional part of it and go, okay, what were Dad's wishes here? What was his wishes? What does he want you to do? And so what I want my kids to do is live on principle after I'm gone. By principle, I mean on a series of principles that give them good critical thinking skills, good spiritual eyes on the world, those kinds of things. And then given all of that, they can make a lot of decisions that were different than the old man made. But one of our principles would be we don't borrow money. Now, that one I would expect them to hold to. You know, one of our principles would be we're always generous. I would expect them to hold to that principle. But, you know, the nuance and the tactical of exactly how you do some of those things, I want to leave them free to make judgments because the world does change. Good question. It's a very good call. Sabrina's with us in Pennsylvania. Hi, Sabrina. How are you?
Hi, Dave. Doing great. Big fan. Thanks for taking my call.
Well, thank you. How can we help?
I am wondering if I should sell my rental property to buy a home or if I should buy the home and keep the property.
Do you have the cash to pay for your home? In cash, no mortgage. No mortgage.
The new home, no. We've got about $80,000 saved for a down payment.
Mm-hmm.
I've got about $60,000 left on the rental property, which was a condo I bought 5 years ago, and never lived in it for various reasons. Mm-hmm. But I'm just not sure if that would be good passive income for my husband and I.
Rental property is great passive income. But I still would sell the condo and use all the equity to plunk down on your home and get your home paid off as fast as you can, then buy rental property with cash. Because here's the effect. Let's pretend you already owned the new home, okay? And it had a bunch of equity in it, and you're living in the new place you're thinking of buying. Can you get there in your mind right now?
Yes.
Okay. And then you woke up and you didn't own this condo. And you woke up one morning and you said, you know what, I'm going to go take out a second mortgage to go buy this rental condo. You wouldn't do that.
No, you're right. I wouldn't.
And in effect, whatever the equity is in the condo that you could have put down on the house, it's almost as if you're borrowing that against the house to keep the condo. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess I am.
Yeah.
So then would you recommend, I mean, I guess I would have to look into it, but I would use that money to put a further down payment on the house, not just do a typical down. Okay, got it.
Yeah, just put as big a possible down payment as you can put, because the goal is get the house paid off as fast as possible, because when you're 100% debt-free, then you start piling up money. And if you want to buy some rental property for passive income, that's a wonderful time to do it with cash, and that's what Sharon and I have done. We started that many, many years ago. And we've paid cash for all of our properties because, you know, the rumor Ramsey doesn't borrow money. So, you know, it's exactly what we've done. But sometimes if you reverse engineer these decisions, meaning like pretend like it wasn't there and I went and made it happen, it makes the answer readily apparent. So I personally would sell the condo. And that's what you were asking is what I would do. I'd sell it and put as big a down payment on the house as you can, get that house paid off as fast as you can. That's the shortest distance between where you are right now and wealthy. This is The Ramsey Show. If you're not using Puretalk for your wireless, you're paying too much. Puretalk gives you the same great 5G coverage on the same 5G network as one of the big guys for half the cost. The average family saves over $800 a year. Go to puretalk.com and choose the affordable plan that's right for you. With their 30-day risk-free guarantee, you have nothing to lose. Go to puretalk.com and enter the promo code Ramsey to save 50% off your first month. This is a big week here at Ramsey. Ken Coleman's book, the brand new book, From Paycheck to Purpose, comes out number 2 on the bestseller list. So a great best-selling book, again, from Ken Coleman. Has done very, very well. Thank you for all of you that supported that process. And we launched the pre-sale on my first book that I've done in 8 years. I haven't done one in a long time. Been pretty much helping the personalities get their books out and do that for about a decade now. The last major book I did was a national #1 bestseller. I did it with Rachel Cruz, my daughter, called Smart Money, Smart Kids. It was 8 years ago. So we're doing another one. Haven't done one in a while, like I said, but we got it done. And it comes out on January the 11th is the street date. That's the date we will ship it to you. It'll be in your mailbox or on your bookstore shelves that day. And it's on sale as of yesterday, or as of the day before yesterday. So it's called Baby Steps Millionaires: How You Will Become a Millionaire If You Follow the Baby Steps. Now, a lot of you have heard a lot of this stuff before, but we've laid it out here in such a way that it is undeniable that you can get there. We lay it out for you spiritually, mathematically, with case studies of all the tens of thousands of millionaires that are there because they followed these baby steps that we teach. We taught them starting back in 2003 in the Total Money Makeover book. And so there's 20 years or so of people out there running around doing this, and we talk to baby steps millionaires every day. So we talk about the things that people believe that are mythology about millionaires, and we talk about the exact steps to follow to get there. If you're looking for get rich quick or some kind of prosperity gospel thingy, it's not that at all. This is simply, if you plant corn, you should pretty much expect corn to grow. That's kind of how life works, right? It's cause and effect, sowing and reaping. Baby Steps Millionaires on sale now. If you buy it for $20 right now while it's in pre-order, you get the audiobook for Baby Steps Millionaires, the ebook for Baby Steps Millionaires, and the Legacy Journey, which is a book I did also about wealth, the audiobook and the ebook of it. The Baby Steps Millionaires live stream, which will happen in January. A Ramsey Smart Tech tax filing, our tax filing software, is going to be there for you for free to file your taxes this year. And a Ramsey Plus subscription 30-day free trial, which gives you access to Financial Peace University and the premium version of Every Dollar, our budgeting app. So all of this for $20 just because you pre-ordered Baby Steps Millionaires. And thank you already. A whole bunch of you have bought the book in the past 72 hours, and we really appreciate that. And of course, we'll continue to let you know all about it as it comes to fruition and actually ships out the door the second week of January. Kathy's with us in Macon, Georgia. Hi, Kathy. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. It's such an honor to get to talk to you.
You too. What's up?
Well, I really want to know how excited I am because the timing is perfect. I said I'm going to call. We just sold our home because of all the counsel I've been listening to through your program and being in your Financial Peace University program off and on. But due to certain circumstances, but we ended up with about a $200,000 net after commission on the sale of our home, but we don't have a home. So we started renting so we could get settled and decide what we're going to do. We're in our 60s and want to know what to do with that money. We have a $44,000 debt remaining to be paid off in our debt snowball. And my husband thinks we should use all the money to pay off the debt. And I said, this is our home. We need to treat it like our house, even though it doesn't have those kind of boundaries on it right now, because it's what we need to buy a home when the time is right, when we get there. So we'd like to know what Dave would do.
I'd pay off the debt.
You would?
Instantly.
Even if you're at our age?
Yes, ma'am.
I told him you would say that 3 days ago. Today I'm terrified to do it because of the market.
Well,
so.
here's the thing. There's two pieces to you having stability in your golden years financially. A paid-for house and no debt. And so we've got to do both.
Right.
We've got to do both to get you there.
Right.
Now, your long-term plan, you didn't sell this house in order to rent for the next 10 years. What was your plan to buy? When are you buying? What are you buying? What are you thinking?
We are really praying through this season because we felt like we made a huge mistake in our last home. You know, we just got ahead of the cart, and we're really just being tentative right now about what we're going to do.
But you're going to buy something. You're going to buy something.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And what is your income right now?
Dollar amount we want. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me tell you first of all, we do want to pay for as much as we can for in cash without having to go with a mortgage.
Agreed.
Our income today, income today is $160,000.
Okay. And so, what are you thinking? If you were to guess today, and you don't have to put this in stone, but just what you're thinking today. If I sat down with a cup of coffee with the two of you, what would you all tell me the price range you're probably going to buy in is?
$350 to $400.
Okay. And you got $150 to put down because I just used up 40 of your 44 of your 200.
I don't like it one bit.
I know. I don't either. But I like it better than you being in debt.
I've learned to be a saver.
Good.
I've learned to be
So now you don't have any debt and you can save more.
Correct.
Okay, so
I actually want to make more money too. I don't want to earn anymore. I actually want to start generating income on my own.
Good. Okay, so we got 150. We need another $200,000, and you make 160. Okay, so if you bought a $350,000 house with $150,000 down, took out a $200,000 mortgage, and paid it off in 4 years, that wouldn't be that big a deal.
Well, what's the payment on that? I haven't done that calculation.
Well, if you pay off $200,000 in 4 years, it's $50,000 a year.
Right.
Out of 160, and you live on 110. Wah.
I know, right?
Yeah, you could do it. You could even do more than that. You might do it in 3 years because you're a saver and everything, you know. But 3 or 4 years from the time, if you bought that house this summer for $350. In the next 6 months or so, you bought the house for $350, and you put down $150, and you had a plan to pay it off in 4 years. You're going to have a great retirement, a paid-for, nice, solid $350,000 home that you bought with wisdom. You took your time, and you didn't make the mistake like you did on the last house, and you don't have any debt in the freaking world except a small mortgage that you're going to knock out really fast. And that sets you up for a quality golden years. So well done, well done, well done, well done. I love it. Proud of you. It's good stuff. So the point is that if you have that as your plan, that 4 years from today, if you bought a $350,000 house today with $150,000 down, you'd have no debt, house and all, then I'm not as scared paying off your debt today, the little $44,000 worth of debt. And paying off that little debt causes what we just outlined to be more likely to happen versus you're running around with money going out to the 44 and you're still trying to do this other thing over here. So I think you need to pay off your debt ASAP, and then I think you need to have a short-term plan to knock out whatever mortgage you take out. I think your plan of a $350 is a very reasonable plan, but get after it, kiddo. It's not a 10-year plan. This is a 3 or 4 year plan. Skid it. Get it. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Here's what's interesting. If you just change your mentality from, I'm always going to be in debt with a 30-year mortgage, and you just change your mentality, and you just take the current balance on your home and you start dividing it out by chunks. Like I just did her $200,000 by 4 years, that's $50,000. That's a chunk, right? That's $4,000 a month, basically, making $160. You can do this like a hot knife through butter. I mean, come on. This is very, very mathematically doable. But until your mind does it and you unpack it and you go, wait a minute, I could do that. You have that kind of light bulb over your head like in a cartoon. You know, a little light bulb comes on and a little cloud over your head. You go, oh, yeah. If you'll start looking at your debt in chunks like that and do big math instead of trying to figure out all these little nuanced things, then you can get it paid off and you can have a whole different mindset about wealth. And a whole different mindset about your generosity, too. This is The Ramsey Show.
Life is full of firsts. As the first and longest-serving Christian health cost-sharing ministry, CHM has shared medical expenses for its members since 1981. We believe you should have the freedom to focus on your health while being supported by a community of believers, giving you the opportunity to create many more firsts.
Most of you know this, but Ramsey Solutions is located in Franklin, Tennessee, just a little south of Nashville. And Franklin is a wonderful small town, Mayberry RFD, basically. And we've located our homes and our offices here for many, many years. And for many years in our old building and now in the new building for the last 2 years, you can actually come into our lobby, get free cookies that are homemade, and they smell so stinking good when you walk into the lobby. Free coffee that's all made just for you, and all kinds of goodies, and a full bookstore. And all of our shows, a lot of our shows, that is, this show included, are on the glass. And so people come in, sit, and eat our free stuff and watch this show, which is kind of like watching ugly paint dry. But hey, you can do it. And we love having people visit, and we appreciate you hanging out. And sometimes when they drop by, they did so with an appointment that they set up through Miss Kelly to do their debt-free scream. And we have this cool little miniature 6-inch high stage. That's the debt-free stage. It's got a little emblem in it that says debt-free, and standing right on top of that debt-free emblem is Connie. Hey, Connie, how are you?
Hi, Dave. I'm good.
Good to have you.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
So, where do you live?
I'm in Pittsburgh.
All right.
Yep.
Fun. Well, good to have you in Nashville. And all the way down here to do a debt-free scream.
Yes, sir.
How much did you pay off?
At $90,000,
Okay. And how long did this take?
30 months.
Okay. 2.5 years. And your range of income during that time?
When we started, it was about $180,000 a year, and now it's work optional.
Whatever I want to
That's
do.
right.
There's a story here. And $90,000 worth of what kind of debt?
It was our mortgage.
Your mortgage, your
Yep.
debt. Oh, house and everything.
Yes,
Looking
sir.
at weird people.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Well done. Okay, so tell me the story. What happened 2.5 years ago made you decide we're knocking the mortgage out?
Well, that was the end of the story. The beginning of the story was my husband Tim and I met in December, had our first date in January, got engaged in March, and married in June.
Of what year?
2003 we got married.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was second marriage for both of us, and my sister Elaine is who introduced us to you. She knew that it was both of our second marriages, and we really wanted to be proactive about our marriages because both of our other ones had ended in divorce, and we just didn't want to go down that road. So money was a part of it, and from where he came from and where I came from, we didn't grow up with any money, and we just really wanted to do it right. So we met you and attended one of your seminars in Pittsburgh in person.
Yeah.
I didn't have the money to pay for it, so I volunteered.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I have my volunteer like no one else shirt still
Love it.
to
Love
this
it.
day.
Love it.
Fast forward, so we paid off all our consumer debt, had children, had life, all that in the meantime. So we've been consumer debt free for several years now, which was great. And then for the mortgage, we just decided it was time. But, we had already raised the kids and everything. I have 16-year-olds in high school, twins, and a daughter who actually just got engaged this last weekend.
Yay!
Yeah, that's fun. So what we decided to do was pay off the mortgage just to be the last of it and to be done with it. And we wanted to have it done by the time the twins graduate high school so that we could help them with college. We didn't really plan on paying for their college, but we wanted to help them if we could. So our goal was to have it paid off, which is June of 2024. So Addison and Nina would graduate, and we'd be able to help them. Twins in college at the same time is a little tough.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we were going to do that. 2018, Tim was diagnosed with leukemia.
Oh, no.
And we thought we had a beat. And he passed away earlier this year.
I'm so sorry.
But that was the last of it. We started to pay it off, and we were meeting in the middle for the girl's graduation date. But when I got his life insurance from his work, I went ahead and finished and paid off the house. Don't do that. You'll make me cry.
So you're making me cry. So wonderful milestone, but bittersweet.
It is.
You weren't supposed to be here without him. That's not right. It's wrong.
That's the hard part.
That's wrong.
He's much too young.
Yeah. How old was he?
57.
Yeah, and you guys were married for what? Almost 20 years?
18. Yep.
Yeah.
Like you've done this before.
Wow. Well, I was going with the 2003 part. So, yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Thanks.
What a tough year.
Yeah. So I know I wanted more to tell our story because with our journey, it wasn't just get out of debt and then go on with your life. We're also coordinators. We've coordinated. I'm on our 5th class.
Wow, thank
so
you.
we had done it 5 times, but currently, and Erwin's around here somewhere. He's helping me. Hi, Erwin.
Yeah.
But we had coordinated your class a couple of times, and it was so important. We didn't know it then, right? But now we did every step of the journey, and if we wouldn't not paid attention to the insurance lesson, because we went out and we got catastrophic insurance, and we got our life insurance in line, both his and mine, I would be a completely different story. I would not be standing here. In fact, the girls and I would probably be bankrupt because, as you can imagine, a bone marrow transplant is super expensive. Just that alone is over $1 million. And if we had to pay 20% of that, and we've done, he treated for 3 years. So we would be absolutely financially devastated. And instead, like I said, I'm fine. The girls are fine. We're fine. And it would just, our lives would be completely different.
How much life insurance did y'all have?
Well, 10 times the Tim's was $1 million.
Okay.
Yeah. Plus, on the other side of that, so we were paying off the house. As soon as we got the house paid off, we were only $40,000 short of being millionaires already. So
this just doubled it then.
Yeah, and this is so funny to say and terrible, right? Because you think $1 million is a lot, but when you have to live off of that for the rest of your life, million's not a lot of money.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
But $2 million's better.
It's better, but I can't touch some of it because it's our retirement.
Yeah, you're still too young.
I'm still too young. Yeah, so.
But work's optional.
Work's optional. Yeah.
I heard that part earlier.
Yeah, well,
I didn't know we were going to get there the way we got there, but we did get there, right?
Well, and I'm an entree leadership person too. I owned my own business, and because I followed you there as well, I had a huge emergency fund through COVID and everything, and we didn't miss a beat because of it. So.
Yeah, you had COVID, leukemia, and everything else.
Yeah,
but you were the third pig in the brick house. I mean, you had everything built out just right and strong.
But you don't know it at the time.
Well, you knew you knew you'd check the boxes. You just didn't realize how important they were at the time.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And now when you get the other side of it, life insurance is a big deal, and being debt-free is a big deal, and having an emergency fund in the business with retained earnings and one at home is a big deal, and having a plan for their kids' college is a big deal, and it's the only thing that makes what you've been through even tolerable.
Tolerable, yeah, barely tolerable.
Yeah, and if you had all that stacked on top of this, it would just be unseemly. It'd be wrong.
It would be. Yeah. It would be crippling.
Yeah. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Thanks.
I'm so sorry for what you've been through.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of. I'm so proud of him.
Yeah.
How he took care of his wife, his kids.
Yeah.
And what he did. What a great man.
And that's what I talked about that in my FPU class. I'm like, look, when we started this, I said, look, guys, I don't want to be Debbie Downer, but sorry to anybody named Debbie. Sorry, by the way. I don't want to be Debbie Downer.
Debbie and Karen, they got a bad life.
I am now Karen, I heard.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be Debbie Downer, but what a tremendous legacy he left for us. And
it's not a downer. It's honoring his legacy. It's honoring his memory because he was a good man and he did a good job of taking care of his family.
He was a good man. Yep.
Proud of him. All right, Connie, we're going to celebrate with you. with a little bit of a lump in our throat with you. All right?
Yeah.
Connie from Pittsburgh, $90,000 paid off in 30 months, making $182. I'll work when I want. Count it down.
right.
Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're debt-free.
Amen. Wow. This is the Ramsey Show. Well, I went out and got to have my picture made with Connie at the break and give her a hug, and wow, what a story. Hey, the reminder is this. When I tell you to go see Xander Insurance and get 10 to 12 times your income on you, you're 57 years old. It doesn't cost that much. $1 million is freaking cost of a pizza. And, you need to take care of these types of things. And as she said, it feels like you're checking the box. You don't have any idea. But you make sure your stinking health insurance is in place. Make sure your life insurance of 12 times your income. I mean, if you make $50,000 a year, you need to have $500,000-$600,000 on you. Your spouse makes $75,000 now. I have $750,000 to $1 million on them. And then you take that money and invest it. It will replicate the income that you are no longer bringing to your family if, God forbid, something happens to you. And we've done detailed research. None of us are getting out of this deal alive. 100% of us are going to die. It's just a matter of when. And it's a matter of what it's going to look like when we're gone with our family that counted on us. Get your stinking insurance in place, man. Get your wills done. 78% of Americans die without a will. It's about the same percentage that are broke, too, by the way. I wonder if there's a correlation between taking care of business and taking care of business. Oh, there is. Hello. Do your grown-up stuff, boys and girls. Get the will in place. Make sure the life insurance is in place. Make sure your health insurance is in place. And if you're a renter and you're just getting started, make sure you have a renter's policy. It's only a couple of $100, and then when somebody kicks your door in and steals your junk, you can get your junk replaced, because it is junk, probably. It was when I was renting. Wouldn't have taken much to replace it. But you can get about $20,000 worth of coverage for theft and fire, and at least get you a new bed if something happens, right? Hello. So, these basic, now I don't want you to buy a bunch of gimmick insurance, but the basic insurance policies are the defense mechanism, and some of you are only playing offense, and you can't out-earn your stupidity. You have to play defense and offense. And I've done it all wrong. I understand, I know, but go take a lesson from a Connie and say, wow, you want your spouse standing there going, he or she has graduated, they're in heaven, but the family is in really good shape because the person that left was so responsible, such a grown-up. That's a big deal, y'all. It's a big deal. Go to XanderInsurance.com and get a quick, easy quote there. You're going to be blown away how cheap this stuff is. And people just don't follow through and get their business taken care of. Scott's with us in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Hey, Scott, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Mr. Ramsey. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
So my wife and I are trying to figure out our next financial moves as we go through a career transition for me and a geolocation transition for both of us. We're currently on baby steps 4, 5, and 6. But as we change locations in the country, I start a new career and she changes jobs and takes a pay cut. We're wondering if we should just stop all investing right now, hit pause, and start again in a year once we're more stable, while we figure out all the mechanics of what's coming up next.
Well, I don't know why it would take a year.
Well, realistically, probably closer to 6 months, but...
Yeah.
if we plan for a year, then it's easy to do in 6 months.
No, if you plan for 6 months, you'll do it in 6 months.
Fair enough.
I mean, I get the idea that now is the net effect going to be a pay cut for the household?
Yes, we're looking at dropping from about $230 a year down to about $130 a year.
Why?
Just while I work on getting my next job.
I'm sorry.
I'm transitioning out of the.
Oh, you're going out of the military.
Sorry, what?
You're coming out of the military.
Yes, Yes.
Oh, okay. And you currently make how much?
About $102 a year.
Okay, and you're going to leave the military when?
Expecting March 1st.
Okay, and what do you do in the military?
I'm an officer in Special Forces.
Thank you for your service. What's your plan in civilian life?
Looking at getting into project management or going back to school to get my MBA.
Okay. I'll probably do both at the same time. And product management should pay more than what we're talking about. What does your wife do?
She's a nurse practitioner.
And why can she not do that in the new city?
She can, which is why we think our income is going to drop down to about that, 125, 130 level.
Well, a product manager, with your experience going right into it, working on your MBA at night ought to be able to make close to what you're making now. And if she makes the same as what she's making now, I don't know why we're taking a $100,000 pay cut.
Yeah, it's just looking at how long it'll actually take to find that job while I circulate my resume.
Yeah. I'm going to send you Ken Coleman's. I'm going to send you Ken Coleman's book, From Paycheck to Purpose, which will help you short circuit that process. Because I don't want you to miss 2 weeks of pay. We already know that we have from now until March to find a job. My goodness, people are hiring like bananas out there. So you ought to be able to land this job way before. You got plenty of time to work on it. You're not just putting out resumes, though. I mean, you're not just filling out applications. You're going to follow a precise 7-stage process to do this, and I'm going to send you Ken Coleman's book to help you do that, okay? So, I think what you're doing here is battle planning for worst-case scenarios, and the problem with that, what I'm pushing back against, I don't want that to become a self-fulfilling prophecy. You follow me?
I got you.
You're tactically trained for everything to go wrong, and that's your plan. That's how your brain works. That's what you've been doing for all these years. Am I wrong?
No, that's basically exactly what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, and so what you laid out for me, I don't want that to become your destiny. I want that to be if the whole battle plan goes sideways. But the plan ought to be we get in and we get out, nobody gets hurt, okay?
Okay.
You with me here? I mean, she's gonna move her career money over, and you're gonna move over and start your MBA while you're working full time, and all of this starts March 1st. Thank you for your service, sir. This is how we're going to do this, okay?
Yeah.
So let's lay out a positive battle plan, and then if you want an exit plan, a worst-case scenario, an extract, whatever you guys call that stuff, you're impressive human beings. What you do and the way you're trained to think in the middle of extreme violence is amazing. And so, but what I don't want you to do from a business perspective, a career perspective, is create a self-fulfilling prophecy. So I want you to lay out a positive thing and then execute exactly what needs to happen to cause that desired future to occur, which is a little different than battle planning. Okay, we have worst case scenario in the back of our mind. That is, there is a trap door, there is an exit strategy, but we really are developing this where there's a high probability of a successful mission. And I don't know if I'm using the right words or not, but I think I am. So hang on, I'll have Laura pick up. We're going to send you a copy of Paycheck to Purpose. And, your training for execution on things sets you up for project management like nobody's business, dude. You are highly qualified to walk into that right now. And if you want to come over here at Ramsey and work project management, we'll talk about it, because I know how your brain works. Hey, thank you. Open phones at 888-825-5225. You jump in. We'll talk about your life and your money. See, here's the thing that you want to be careful of, and Ken Coleman talks about this all the time. what you're doing where you are is more important than what the company does where you are, and more important than your job title is where you are. You're the pastor of a church that runs $15 million budget annually. Okay, you're not a pastor if you're transitioning out of that line of work into the business world. You're a guy who's a CEO's run a $15 million top line organization, nonprofit or otherwise. You've run a lot of expenses. You've done a lot of hiring and firing. You've been involved in a lot. You need to think about your skill sets that you're developing, not the heading under which they fall. This is The Ramsey Show.
This is James Childs, producer of The Ramsey Show. Did you know The Ramsey Show is one of the most popular podcasts in the world? Subscribe or follow today wherever you listen to podcasts.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. Thank you for joining us, America. We are so glad you're here. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey personality, best-selling author of the book Redefining Anxiety. He's with me. We're going to talk about your life, your money. If you've got mental health and boundary and family issues, he's here to help with that as well. We'll weave in together and make sure we get your question answered from every possible angle. The phone number, 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Harrison is in Louisville, Kentucky. Hey, Harrison, what's up?
Hey, Dave. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. How can we help?
Hey, okay, so I am engaged to be married. My fiance and I are almost done building our house. So we are completely out of debt except for the house. And we have our 3 to 6 months saved up. And I want to start paying on the house and just knock that out. But she really likes security, and she wants to continue to save and not pay as much on the house. And I was just kind of seeing like what you thought about that.
When are you getting married?
When am I getting married? As soon as the house is built.
That's weird.
Finished being built.
Yeah, why'd you pick that order?
Well, we kind of decided to do both of them at the same time.
It's like jumping off of jumping out of an airplane and then trying to find where your parachute is. So
okay.
You decided to both do it at the same time?
Yeah, we got engaged and then started building the house.
When will it be complete approximately?
January, February.
Okay. All right. Because here's the answer to your question. There's not a we until you're legally married. Because legally there's not a we. All right?
Okay.
If you die today without a will, she's got nothing except what's in her name. Whose name's this house in?
It's in my name.
Oh. Okay. So she doesn't have a house if you die today without a will. There's an example of what I'm talking about. Your mom and daddy got a new house if you die without a will today. So, number one, either go get married by Thanksgiving or go get a will done by Thanksgiving. Okay. Number two, there's a we after you're married. Number three, no, you don't need more than 6 months of expenses set aside. You have zero debt except a house, and you're attacking the house. And by the way, a paid-for house is a greater element of security than a larger emergency fund is.
Okay.
So she really wants security. Security comes from the paid-for house. So now, the thing you may want to investigate, because one of the biggest things we fight about in marriage is money, you may want to investigate what the where her insecurity comes from that's so extreme that she wants an extra pile of money beyond what any financial planning expert. I mean, the 3 to 6 months of expenses is kind of a standard in the financial planning world. I didn't come up with that. That's been out there for 50 years. And hardly anybody says, oh, have a year just to be safe. I just never see that or hear that, because you should move on with other things at some point rather than just piling up cash that's making you nothing. But I would want to know, what's, is there the way she grew up, the family got foreclosed on 3 times, or they're always having to move because her mom misbehaved with money, or what is driving this need for an extra large umbrella just in case it rains?
Do you know what that answer is?
No, I don't know what that answer is.
Do you think that's a correct question to ask?
Yeah, I can definitely see why you would ask that question, and I guess I should try to see if I can figure that out more. I know that it's not just like money. She worries about a lot of stuff. She's just like that kind of person who just worries about a lot of stuff, kind of like expects the worst all the time. And so like if, our car were to blow up or something like that, that would completely drain the fund. And then we would have to start all over again. So I think that might be her reasoning why she wants more than the.
What do you make?
I make $40 a year. She makes $30.
So $70,000 a year. So if you had $15,000, that would be approximately 3 months of expenses, and that would not drain your emergency fund if your car blew up.
Right, because I should just probably buy a $2,000 or $3,000 car.
Well, no, I mean you can put an engine in it for $6,000 or $7,000, and you still have $9,000 left over if you had 15.
Yeah, or buy a $5,000 or $10,000 car. To me, here's the broader question. You guys, as a married couple or is about to get married, is a great conversation to have as you're entering into being with this person forever. Is asking, what are the things that make you uncomfortable? What are the things that scare you out in the world? What are the things that bring you joy? You should know those things about the person as well as they can articulate them before you marry them.
And that's a good discussion around this whole emergency fund thing. And then the other thing you do is, what I just played on you there was a Dr. John Deloney trick. Facts are your friends. You described a fear that the facts were illogical. Oh, my car blows up, it blows up my whole emergency fund. No, it doesn't, not unless you have too small an emergency fund.
Or you need to drive a Porsche, right? It doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, if you have $15,000 or $20,000 in your emergency fund, which would be 3 to 6 months of expenses in your case, you wanted 6 months minimum because of her insecurity. So we're really looking probably $25,000 or $30,000 in your emergency fund. And if you have that, I don't know what kind of car fire you're about to have, dude, but that's a pretty serious car fire. So that doesn't match up. When you say if a car blew up, it would drain my money. No, it doesn't. That's the facts don't line up. And so one of the things I've learned to do, and I didn't know I was doing it till Dr. Deloney taught me I was doing it, but that is if you lay out the actual dollars and numbers in these worry scenarios, it takes the power out of the worry. Mm-hmm. It diffuses the worry. It diffuses the bomb.
Or it highlights the one that is a real problem that we got to solve.
Yeah, and then you go, that one. Yeah, okay.
We're going to have to get another job and work for 2 years.
Or do we buy insurance for that thing?
There you go.
Because I'm not going to have an emergency fund won't take care of that.
That's right.
And so I got to have something to alleviate the worry. But most of the time when you give numbers and timelines and details to your worry, it defangs the worry.
That's right.
It pulls the claws out of it.
That's right.
And so it takes the poison out of it. And because 80% of what we worry about never happens anyway, Dale Carnegie used to say, and the other 20%, let's divide it up into the things we can do something about and the things we can't do something about. And now we've got almost nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
Because you can't do anything about nuclear war or Biden spending money. You can't do anything about that at all, except vote next time there's a chance. That's the only thing you can do. But so what you've got to do is get up off your butt and exist in this inflationary world that is real. So
make the best choices.
What can I do something about? What can I not do something about? So that's the problem. Spending all your time watching Fox and CNN is all you do is worry about stuff that they want you ginned up about.
Right.
Instead of going and living your life.
Well, what a gift that would be, huh?
Wow. What would happen in America? People would start liking each other again. This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're ready to get out there and find a job you love, then you need to hear this. Job hunting can be stressful and time-consuming, but my friends at ZipRecruiter have made the whole job search way easier. ZipRecruiter is rated the #1 job site in the U.S. by G2, and it's free. So how does it work? First, go to ZipRecruiter.com/Ken. Then create a free profile and let their technology do the hard work by finding and sending you jobs that are a great fit. And get this, ZipRecruiter pitches your profile to companies whose jobs match your skills and experience. If someone from that company likes your profile, they can personally invite you to apply for the job. So if you're ready for an easier job search, check out ZipRecruiter. Sign up for free right now at ZipRecruiter.com/Ken. That's ZipRecruiter.com/Ken. Sign up today, absolutely free, and let ZipRecruiter work for you.
Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Kendra is in Dayton, Ohio. Hi, Kendra. How are you?
Hello. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
Okay. Baby step 6. We have a house that's worth around $400. We owe $250. We are at a 22-year fixed. We couldn't get it down to the 15 at this point. We have about $140,000 worth of repairs and updates and things that we need to do to sell. We're looking to sell in 3 to 5 years and downsize. So I recently got a better job, so the shovel's a little bigger. So I'm trying to figure out, do we pay down the mortgage or do the updates?
What's your household income?
It's around $200 now.
Good. So if you do the if you pay down the mortgage and you don't do the updates, how are you going to sell?
Exactly.
Yeah, so I think you do the updates. What in the world is wrong with this house? $140,000 on a $400,000 house? Falling in?
Yes and no. It has, it's just some parts are dated and was when we bought it, but it just matched what we needed for our family.
Yeah, but what's wrong? I mean, what are you talking about doing for $140,000 freaking dollars?
Yeah, anytime someone says repairs and updates, that I always want to parse those apart.
Yeah, it's both. It's both, because the kitchen and bathrooms need updates, and this is per realtor coming in and saying, okay, here are things I recommend in order to get, the best price for the house kind of thing, and within our neighborhood. And so it's a deck where the wood is literally falling through. Somebody fell through the steps. So it's air conditioning unit that needs replaced. It's roof, it's windows, siding. Those are more the repair side than the updates, the kitchens and the bathrooms and flooring.
Wow, you guys have let this place run down to nothing.
We were doing the steps, and that was the struggle.
You just now got to baby step 4, 5, 6?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes,
that's good.
Only within the last 6 months.
All right. Number 1, separate the updates and repairs. Do the repairs first.
Okay.
The deck that's falling is not expensive, number 1. Number 2, it's dangerous. Fix that. The heat and air is
they
working.
They quoted us out like $20,000 for that.
$20,000?
Yeah, and that
was
one of the cheaper bids. It's large, and so that was one of the cheaper bids.
Okay, well, just try to figure out if there's a different way to skin this cat. That sounds a little bit, that still sounds out of control.
The first one was $40,000.
Okay.
First bid.
They all sound out of control. One of them sounds twice as much out of control as the other one, but still.
It's wood, and that is out of control right now. Yeah.
Okay. Well, bottom line is you just need to segment these items, make a list and prioritize them, and begin to cash flow them through them. Number one item is most dangerous. Number two is next most dangerous. And once you get past dangerous stuff or leaking or repairs and get over into updates, maybe you do some of the updates, maybe you don't. Maybe you just sell a house with an outdated bathroom and
that was that. Yeah, exactly. That's where we're struggling. Okay. Or do we refinance?
No, you don't need to refinance. It's 100. You're trying to get out of debt. We're not trying to add debt.
Right.
That was not one of your questions.
Correct.
So you make 200. No. You have 3 to 4 years to do $140,000 worth. And so if you divide that by 3, that's $50,000 a year. You can get it done in 3 years and just make your list out and just systematically begin to work down the thing. It's not all one project at one time.
Mm-hmm. Correct. And when I was talking refinance, I was talking about putting money towards the principal to get it down to the 15-year fix, not borrowing against it.
Yeah. Well, no need to pay to refinance to do that. You just pay extra on the mortgage. But you're not able to do that till you get this stuff done. Whatever you choose to do to get the house market ready, whatever you choose to do, the more you study it, the more you think about it, the more you get bids on it. And by the way, I'm in the next 6 months, do as little of it as you can, because let's give some of this craziness time to some of the crazy to bleed off of the construction world, because the construction world's in full on crazy mode right now.
Yes.
And so let's not get in too big a hurry, because lumber might come back down. Matter of fact, it probably will. It's, once they start bringing the trees out of the forest again, that kind of stuff. It's a supply demand issue, and so the way you eat an elephant is a bite at a time, and that's how I would get at this.
I also want to make sure over the next 3 to 5 years, I've made this mistake a couple of times, Dave. I have a goal that's 3 years away or 5 years away. Let's say I'm going to try to get through a school program or something like that. Man, I lose 3 years of life because I don't like where I'm at. I'm always looking at what tomorrow's going to be. And so I want to balance that $140,000. We got to get – you're not going to get all these things done and all of a sudden the sun's going to come out. The sun's going to come out anyway. So make your plan, work towards these things, and then enjoy the house while you're in it.
And sell it.
At
some point, just
sell it.
Call it a day.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm out of here.
Yeah. Enjoy your life.
Drew's in Raleigh. Hi, Drew. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
Better than I deserve. How can we help?
So I have a question. I am 20 years old. I'm making about $41,000 a year right now. I have $20,000 in cash and $20,000 invested in a mutual and a Roth. And in the near future, probably about the next 5 years or so, have marriage, that will be coming, buying a house, and stuff like that. So I had a question on if you would recommend being gazelle intense for a few years to build wealth. I don't have any debt, so I was curious if you get intense for a couple years in the beginning to build the wealth, if that would be worth it, or if you would suggest you just stick with the 15% that you recommend.
Well, you don't have a house payment today, and so the 15% is not what we would recommend. We'd recommend that you max out whatever retirement you can while you're meeting some of your other savings goals. See, yes, I would be intense to use your, I'm not sure it's gazelle intense. Gazelle intense is you have absolutely no life until you get yourself out of debt. And I don't think I'm going to prescribe that for you, but I think you would be very intentional versus intense and say, okay, I'm going to have this segment of my money that I enjoy, and all the rest of it I'm going to use to pile up and build wealth during this short period of time. I'm going to be really intentional, and I may have a little smaller enjoyment budget than some of my buddies who blow their entire freaking paycheck. Because I'm grown up beyond my years. I've already matured beyond my 20 years here, which you have just by asking this question. You're a pretty impressive young man. And so, yeah, I think that's intentional, but when we're talking about gazelle intensity, we're talking about you have no life at all until you get your dadgum debt paid off. And that's the best way to get out of debt. That's not necessary for you to have a really sweet situation 5 years from today.
And I think you got to look at what are you not doing, meaning if you have a traditional 8 to 5 job and you go home and you're going to spend from 5 o'clock till 9 o'clock playing video games, and you're 21, get another job. start work and grind. If you've got friend opportunities to hang out with your buddies and create community, of course do that stuff. But I'm a huge fan of people in their 20s really busting it and getting after it. But like Dave said, man, you got to breathe too. You got to breathe.
Yeah, intentionality just means that, we're not going to go from Friday night to Sunday night and spend everything we made in the previous 5 days, which is what most people do, particularly at 20 years old.
Then they spend the next 3 weeks trying to pay it back.
Yeah, and trying to figure out how we're going to eat because now we got any money to eat next week. And so that happens all the time. So, we're just moving way to the other side of that coin. But this idea that you sit at home and do absolutely nothing and you cheap out on every single thing and you don't buy a bed, you sleep on the floor or something, no, we're not saying do that.
Go on a date.
Yeah, enjoy and have some money set aside for enjoyment.
If you're considering a career in technology, I recommend Bethel Tech, and I'm not alone. Here's what Brendan said. Before Bethel Tech, I was driving Uber. Within 4 months of graduating, I got a job paying $60,000. About 2 years after that, I got a remote job that pays me $130,000, all thanks to what I learned at Bethel Tech. You could be next. Get started today at BethelTech.net and get $1,000 to $2,500 off of your tuition. Again, it's BethelTech.net/Ken Coleman.
Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. I can't see the screen, James. Thank you. Okay. So in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, Tyler and Jessica are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Hey, y'all. How's it going?
Great, man. So how much debt have you guys paid off?
It's about a little over $68,000.
Very good. How long did that take?
25 months.
Good for you. And your range of income during that time?
It started about 59-ish all the way up to now. It's right at 70.
Very good. Good for you guys. Awesome.
So y'all are getting after it.
Yeah.
So where do you guys live?
Sparta, Tennessee.
Sparta. Awesomeness. Very good. Not far, just over the road, over the hill?
Just over the hill.
Yeah, just over the hill.
Yeah.
Couple hours, huh?
Yeah, not too bad.
What kind of debt was the $68,000?
Oh, man, we were pretty normal. I listen to the show every day, and I hear all these screams and how they're normal, and I was just the same. We were just the same, pretty normal. It was a car loan, credit cards, personal loans, just anything you can think of except student loans.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you guys. So, excellent job. So tell me about it. When did you start on this journey? You started 25 months ago, but what started you on this Ramsey journey?
Well, in April of 2019, we decided that we wanted to have another baby, and we wanted to provide the best life possible for both of our kids, because we seen our debt that we were in. We actually, what kind of encouraged us to start the Dave Ramsey plan was because we sat down one day before we bought our house and we looked at how much we were eating out each month, and it was ridiculous. We were spending like $500 to $600 a month eating out.
Whoa.
Just in food.
Wow.
And so it was kind of crazy.
You're keeping Sparta open.
Yeah, we had no control of our money.
We didn't have any control over our money. If we had it, we spent it, and we didn't care at the time. And so we decided that we wanted to have another baby. And so we just started trying to attack our debt. And then we got pregnant sooner than we thought. And so we started stockpiling up everything. And that was probably one of the best things that we could ever do, was really follow that to a T. Because whenever our son was born, he had to be in Vanderbilt for 3 weeks.
Ooh.
And he came home on a feeding tube for 3 months.
Yikes.
And so because we had the stockpile of cash, we didn't have to worry about anything because we knew that we were taken care of regardless. And even through, it was a very, very challenging time. It really rocked our faith. You know, we really had to be strong in our faith with God through all of that. But because of that, we could focus on what God was doing for us because we didn't have to worry about any money at all.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. So he come early or just had some issues or what?
Well, he came 3 weeks early, but he had a birthing injury. So whenever he was born, they had to resuscitate him and send him back to. He had to be rushed to Vanderbilt. They didn't think that he was going to be that he was going to not be able to walk. He wasn't going to have much of a life at all. They thought he was going to stay on the feeding tube for the rest of his life.
He even mentioned he may even develop cerebral palsy at one point.
Yeah.
None of that happened.
None of that happened. He's running around here like crazy. So.
Oh, I saw him out there. He's screaming at the top of his lungs. I love it.
That's him.
I love it. Very cool.
Yeah.
I love it. I especially like it now. That's great. Good for you. Well, good news. That's good news. What's his name?
His name's Aiden.
And how old? Aiden?
Aiden, yeah.
And how old is he now?
He's 19 months.
All right, cool.
We have another one out here. Her name is Emery, and she's 6.
And she's sitting here just like a little princess.
Yeah. She is a princess, and she knows it.
I love it. Very good. Okay. So Aiden and what?
Emery.
And so y'all got scared, and you got a dose of hard life. And then what got you on the journey?
Well, we wanted to provide a better life for our kids than we had. You know, our parents did the best they could with what they had, but we both grew up really, really poor.
Gotcha.
So I didn't want my kids to have to go through that. You know, the house that I lived in growing up was falling apart, you know, but we made do with it. You know, it really humbles you down in life. So I didn't want my kids to ever have to go through something like that.
I think what we originally heard about Dave Ramsey from high school, but didn't think nothing about it.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then we got married, and she actually mentioned, hey, don't you remember Dave Ramsey? I said, yeah. And that was pretty much the end of it. Of course, that was in 2017. And then...
That's how we are around here, Tyler.
It's just Dave.
Just Dave.
Yeah.
Then, we started our marriage didn't have much debt, but I took responsibility. And, it was more of a negative impact on our life because I was the one that got us into the debt. I kind of got this car fever, wanted the new stuff, and hey, why don't we go get a credit card? If we can get it on 0%, it must be okay, that kind of thing. But then reality started setting in because, as she mentioned, we were wanting to have another baby. And so we started looking further into this Dave Ramsey stuff.
You see it with different eyes when you need it.
Yeah, you really do.
That's true.
That's good. I understand. Well done, you guys. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, we're so excited.
What do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is? You paid off $68,000 in 25 months.
Well, so I tell people that the key of getting out of debt is, for one, you got to be content with what you have. If you're not ever happy with where you're at now, you won't ever appreciate where you go out in the future. So I tell them that, and that they have to get on a budget. Budgeting and knowing where every dollar is going to is the biggest thing.
Yep.
So.
And I think the key for me would be patience. I learned a lot of to have patience during this process, to have patience not only with myself, but with the actual process. If you're not going to go get another job, then find something to sell. If you don't have anything to sell, then just find other ways to make money and just be patient with the process.
We literally sold everything in our house.
We
sat on lawn chairs for a few days.
We even sold one of our vehicles, which was a big majority of our debt.
Yeah.
Good for you guys.
Way to go, you guys.
Incredible.
Yep,
well, if you live like no one else later, you can live and give like no one else.
That's right.
Absolutely.
You set yourself up to take care of these 2 babies. Very well done.
Now you can buy that beautiful wife of yours a couch, my friend.
We already got them.
That's a good thing. I love it. All right. Are we going to get Emery in the Or Aiden either one in the debt-free scream, or were they just going to watch?
I think they'll just watch.
Okay, that works for me. All right. Tyler and Jessica from Sparta, Tennessee, we've got a copy of The Legacy Journey for you. That's the next chapter in your story for you to go on and be baby steps millionaires. We also got a copy of the Total Money Makeover for you to give away to one of those friends that have been making fun of you while you were doing all this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe get one of them activated.
Yeah,
man.
they told us we were crazy.
Yeah, well, you are. You're crazy like a fox. So there you go. Well done. Very, very well done. Tyler and Jessica, Aiden and Emery. $68,000 paid off in 25 months, making $59,000 to $70,000 from Sparta, Tennessee. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
Ready?
3, 2, 1. We're debt-free!
Yeah! There is something about having an emergency, and there's nothing quite like a brand new baby who's got some medical challenges to take your breath away, put your stomach in your throat, and make it stay there for a while. And there's something about being in that situation with money versus without money. Money doesn't make it all better.
Right.
Money doesn't make it go away, but it lowers the level of trauma.
It gives you an option. Yeah.
It gives you, it gives you the ability to concentrate on what matters, not what matters and what doesn't matter.
Yeah. And this couple didn't have a model of what this looks like growing up, and so they had to just lean all the way in on these baby steps, and they followed them all the way through, man. How cool is that?
Very cool. Good stuff. Good folks. Well done, y'all. Well done. This is The Ramsey Show. I kind of think it's too soon to start talking about Christmas, but it's not too soon to start thinking about being ready for Christmas. Thanksgiving's a couple weeks away. Here's the deal. Me and the rest of the Ramsey Solutions team, we're already in Christmas mode because that's what we do. We just love Christmas around here, so that's the deal. And we're giving away cash as part of our Christmas cash giveaway. Every year we celebrate Christmas with our Ramsey Show listeners and our Ramsey Show Christmas cash giveaway. It's become a tradition. This year we're giving away $500 every week, which means you want us to start as soon as we can. So we've started. And a grand prize of $5,000. You can enter every day to increase your chances of winning. Once a day is about all that'll work for you. Other than that, we pull it out. But then we do a drawing, and someone wins $500 every week. Go to RamseySolutions.com/giveaway, and you can get in on the giving as well. We've got all kinds of life-changing gifts for your family, your friends. Our famous $10 sale on over 40 best-selling books. Our envelope systems. You can get stuff like Rachel Cruz's newest book, Know Yourself, Know Your Money, for $10. The Total Money Makeover for $10, which is number 4 on the bestseller list this week. Wow. There you go. This year, forget the one-time use presents and gift a lifetime of hope. Shop the $10 sale at RamseySolutions.com. Sign up for the free money. Awesome. Hey, our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. Find out for yourself why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Free samples, free shipping, new promos all the time. You save even more. Use the promo code Ramsey to get the best deal.
All right, today's question comes from Caitlin in Colorado. Caitlin says, my husband and I are on baby steps 4 and 6. Our children's college funding is already covered through my husband's GI Bill. We paid off $175,000 in 27 months while working 6 jobs between the two of us. Wow. While that feels great, The problem is I'm exhausted.
Well, no kidding.
Yeah, I'm tired of working 70 hours a week, and I don't want to miss out on this time with my kids. I see in the Every Dollar app what the extra income can do for family vacations, buying the things we put on hold in baby step 2, and paying off the house, so I feel like I have to keep up this crazy pace. How do I change my mindset from the hustle and grind to get the debt done to this is a crock pot in a rhythm of life so I can finally enjoy what we're working for so long? Man, that's a question about identity that we get a lot, Dave.
Yeah.
How do I turn the gazelle off? How do I let the gazelle just rest and start grazing again?
Yeah. When you finish your baby step 3 and you've got your emergency fund in place, we tell you to change from gazelle intensity just to intentionality.
Right.
Just doing things on purpose. So here's what's new. What will never be the same, because you've changed the shape of your brain permanently, what will never be the same is that you will never again look at the Every Dollar budgeting app and not think, oh, I could do this. I can do that. I can do this. You're always going to have that thought because you've retrained your brain to actually pay attention instead of letting this happening to you. You're happening to it. And so that's great news. And you've identified what the problem is. You're tired. And so, you look at the Every Dollar app and you go, well, I'm not going to be working as much, and so we won't be able to do this and this and this and this. But now you're doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah. I like to, there's a 3-pronged decision-making matrix. Here you go. Practice, curious, and facts. I want you to practice working fewer hours. And then I want you to feel how uncomfortable that is and be curious with yourself. Why does it feel so uncomfortable right now that I want to hang out with my kids instead of going to deliver pizzas tonight? And then I want you to sit down with the data. Your body's going to be telling you, we got to keep wrestling, we got to keep running. What are the facts? The facts are you paid your debt off. You're okay. And you're going to slowly practice retraining your body that you're not in danger anymore. And now it's about how much fun can you have. And like Dave said, be intentional about your life. And some folks, Dave, I've just come to understand some folks, and you may be like this, you just hit a light switch, just off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm good. I saved up my money and I'm going to do this thing. I found my wife's that way. We got the money, we're good. And I keep thinking, all right, but what about this? What about this? And so I got to practice. I just lean into it and practice, and then I get better and better at it, and then I quit thinking about it after a while.
So here's what happens. Your nervous system resets.
That's right.
And so you're driving 30 miles an hour for a year. And then you step on the gas. And your heart rate changes. Your stomach comes up in your throat. Adrenaline is released, and you're doing 90. And then you set the cruise on 90. And you ride along about 2 hours on 90. Mm-hmm. Then you reset the cruise down to 55. And you feel like a turtle.
It's like you're walking.
You feel like a turtle.
Yes.
You're like, what happened?
Yes.
I thought, but at first 90 blows your mind, right? But then you reset and you drop back down to 55 after you've got your nervous system reset at 90. Then it just feels like this is a crawl. But you're still not at 30.
Well, you're double. You're almost 2x what you were. And here's the demon here. Your body gets addicted to the cortisol and adrenaline that gets released at 90. It begins to beg you, go back to 90. We get that drug hit at 90, and you got to retrain your brain that know what?
And what's worse than that is 90 won't deliver it anymore.
You got to go 110
because once you get satiated with that, you got to go on up again. And so you just have to force yourself to go, oh my God, this, because when those white lines are coming at you like, and then they're coming at you like ding, ding.
It feels like you're dying. It feels like the world's passing you by.
Are we crawling here? Are we ever going to get there? But your nervous system resets, and it does it in any area of your life. Once you've handled, here's another example. Okay, I talk to people that they made $60,000 their whole life, and then they start making $100,000, and they make $100,000 for 10 years, and they lose their job, and they get a new job making 60. I say, well, you're not going to keep making 60 because your brain is reset. Your nervous system is set at 100 now. You're going to gravitate. The gravitational pull is going to pull you back to the 100. But you've never been there before. The first time up that hill is a steep climb.
Yeah.
But it's like rolling down the hill to get there the second time because you're everything about you, your way your mind works is set on 100,000 now.
Yeah. It just changes everything.
Yeah, and you can't go back. Right. You don't. Once you've stretched, you can't go back. So you're going to experience when you turn this down the feeling of you've gone from 90 to 55 or 60, but that's still twice as fast as you used to be going, so you're fine.
And what most people go wrong is they feel that downshift, and then they try to hide from it.
Yeah.
They numb it. They get into all kind of crazy addictions because they feel like they're going too slow or they're going too fast. And that's why I want someone, be curious about it. Go, oh yeah, we're going 60. And then what's the data? The data is we're going 2x what we used to be. The other speed wasn't sustainable. It was just for a season. We had to get out of that.
Yeah, you're going to get arrested.
Yeah, or you're going to crash your car, or your engine's going to melt down, right? And now, let's be curious about it, and then we're going to practice it. And then 60 is going to be a great cruising speed for the rest of your life.
Yeah, we'll be just fine.
And you'll have some more seasons of 90 and some of 40, but it's life.
You can spike up if you want to spike up again, if you need to. But, it's not sustainable. You're exhausted.
Yeah.
You're exhausted.
Yeah.
And you need your brain is telling you, your emotions, your body, your fatigue level is talking to you, and so listen.
Yeah.
Listen. And there's nothing wrong with that. Everything you're doing is right. Everything you're doing is normal. The beautiful thing, though, is you now know what 90 feels like.
Yeah.
And so it's no longer a theory for you.
And there will come a moment when you have to go 90 again, and you'll settle
and it's
right
like,
back in.
I can do it.
Yeah,
I can do it.
absolutely.
I've had to do that after COVID. I've had to kick my hours and the work productivity that is, I'd slowed back, but I'm right back up where I was because there's some, stuff happened at Ramsey, and I got to be back in the saddle, and here I am. So here we go, baby. And I'm back on the stage. I'm back in the media. I'm back in writing books. What do we got to do to get it? Because this is what it takes to go right now. But it's not for everything. It's not for everything. It really wasn't hard to get back there either.
Yeah, I know. It's and that's the thing. It's part of me like, just give me an excuse to go 90. I just want to go 90. I just want to go 90. And hey, I want Caitlin. I want you and your husband. Y'all go celebrate. You paid up, have a marker. You paid off $175,000.
$175,000 in 27 months.
Go have a party. Mark the moment, and then say what's next. Don't just continue in the same river.
Go on a trip and drive 60.
Yeah. Man.
Pretty stinking incredible. I love it. Dr. John Deloney, good hour. James Childs is our producer. Laura Johnson filling in for Kelly Daniels today on the phones, an associate producer role. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host, and we'll be back.
It's Kelly, associate producer and phone screener for The Ramsey Show. If you would like to do your debt-free scream live on the show, make sure you visit theramseyshow.com and register. We would love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey personality, is my co-host today. His show, The Dr. John Deloney Show, is where, it's an amazingly popular podcast where they talk about life and boundaries and relationships and mental health things that are going on. So we will talk about all of that and your money this hour. 888-825-5225. Allie and Jesse are on the line with us in Montgomery, Alabama to start off this hour. Hey guys, how are you?
Hi, it's actually just Allie now. My husband had to go get the 1-year-old.
Oh, that'll work. Okay.
Good for him. So what's up?
So our question is, we are kind of having a disagreement over what to do with our money. As of August, we are completely debt-free, and we currently have $35,000 in our joint savings account.
I hate it when that happens. Now, house and everything is debt-free?
So we are military, so we move frequently, and we had to sell our home in Washington to move here to Alabama. And with the proceeds from that, we paid off everything that we owned, student loan debt,
Way to
everything.
go. Awesome.
And we have $35,000 right now. We're a joint income home. We bring home about $6,000 a month and currently have $4,000 a month going into savings. Our disagreement is he wants to use the money we currently have in our account as a down payment for a mortgage on a house that we cannot live in for 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I would prefer to save that money and maybe wait a year, which, if I do my math correctly, without interest, that our account would be at about $83,000 at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So you just not want to live on base anymore?
So we wouldn't be buying a house here. We would continue to rent here. The house would actually be back in Washington.
Why?
Because that's where we plan to retire whenever he gets out of the military.
When?
He still has 10 years left.
Okay.
But we are projected to go
both
back.
lose.
Yeah.
You both lose.
Yeah.
You shouldn't buy a house until you're ready to go back.
Yeah, absolutely not.
So the reason why is it's a build. It's not a purchase. I guess it's technically still a purchase.
Doesn't take 10 years to build a house.
Correct. He said that we could rent it out during the meantime.
I'm sure.
But I don't necessarily want strangers living in my forever home for me to have to fix before I move back in.
Yeah, there are no forever homes. Everybody moves. Just about the time you think you have a forever home, you'll discover forever is not there. So that's bogus. But I don't want people living in I don't want renters living in it either. No, you don't buy a rental property that you're going to move into later. Just wait until you get ready to buy. Until you get ready to move.
You don't want to be a landowner.
Yeah. When you come out of the military, go build you a house where you want to live.
Yeah.
And even then, it's not a forever home.
How much of this is he is trying to put an end date on this thing? Is this a psychological move for him?
So our goal was, if we were to use this as a down payment, we'd want the house paid off before he got out of the military, in order for us to have a dual income after he retires with his retirement income from the military, and start a woodworking business.
Mm-hmm.
And
so here's what it sounds like. It sounds like y'all are in a hard season right now, and y'all have created a fantasy of the world's going to be like in a decade for y'all. And it's cool to have goals and to paint pictures, but y'all are watching a lot of HGTV, and you have a fantasy about what a decade from now is going to look like. And that's cool and all, but let it be there until you get there. I'd much rather you have hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash or whatever you want to do when you buy a house than go buy something now that you're going to strap yourself to on the other side of the country for a world that you don't know what's going to exist in 10 years.
You move a renter into this property, I'll give you a 90% probability you never live in it.
Ever.
Well, to be honest, you said what I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
He won't like it.
Yeah. So neither one of you win the argument, though.
Yeah.
So I'd put the $35,000 and whatever you're going to save per month into a good growth stock mutual fund or a series of them, meeting with a SmartVestor Pro, and that's your house fund. And then have enough money saved up to pay cash for a house when you come out of the military. And if you are coming out of the military in 9 months and you want to start the build, that's fine. But 9 years, nah. Don't think I will do that.
And just do the math on what you think you're going to earn in rental income over the next decade. It's just the math doesn't work.
It's not worth it.
No.
And you're not going to move in that house after those renters. You're just not going to do it. You're going to end up having to gut it and do everything else to get it back to being no, don't do that.
And by the way, you'd be buying a house in the most bonkers market ever. Wait a decade.
Yeah, this is not the time to buy unless you really, really need to buy.
Right.
Open phones at 888. Thank you for your service.
That's a great call.
Open phones at 888-825-5225. You jump in. We'll talk about your life and your money. Okay, let's go to Michael in Dayton, Ohio. Hey, Michael, how are you?
Hey, how you doing, Dave? Can you hear me well?
Absolutely. What's up?
Hey, I just had a question about W-4s. I don't make too much money. I only make like $32,000 a year. And what's the best way to where you don't have to owe taxes at the end of the year, but you give the the IRS, enough to where you're just getting the maximum in your paycheck?
Well, there's two ways to do this, or three ways to do this. One way, the simplest way, is if you have made the same amount of money for a while. How long have you made 32? Hello? Michael.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can. You need to turn that stupid phone off speaker and talk into it. Okay, now, how long have you made 32?
I've made that for probably 2 years now.
Okay. Did you get a tax refund in the last 2 years?
No, I owed money last year. I owed about $800.
Okay, then you're not having enough taken out. Did you owe money the year before?
No, that was the first time that I've owed money.
Okay. How much did you refund the year before?
I think the year before was about $150 to $200.
Okay, you're pretty close then. I mean, you're not having enough taken out if you're having to pay extra in when you get there. And if you end up having to pay too much extra in, they're going to penalize you for not having enough withheld eventually. So, but $800 a month is what, $80? I mean, $800 is like $80 a month. So, you may want to have that much more taken out of your account. The second way that's the quick and dirty way to do it. The second way to do it is actually do your taxes and calculate what your taxes are going to be and make sure that amount is withheld out of your check. And then you'll be exact. And the third way is to do your taxes. No, that's pretty much it. So there's two ways, John. That's it. So that's how you do it. There you go. This is The Ramsey Show. If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular, and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com. Hey, if you hadn't found out, this year Christmas is in December. Yeah, you knew that, and the stress was already starting to build up for you, wasn't it? Hey, the stress over the food, the travel, even the gifts, no reason to stress like that. Doesn't have to be that way. You can lay out a plan, you can have confidence, you can have control, you can have peace in your finances. We call it financial peace. We'll show you how to do it in Financial Peace University. We've done that with about 10 million folks now, where we teach them how to get out of debt, how to save money, how to become wealthy and outrageously generous, and how to put a plan into practice with budgeting with the world's best budgeting tool, the EveryDollar app, the premium version. So Financial Peace University, in the premium version of EveryDollar, comes with a Ramsey Plus membership. You don't have to live through a stressed out Christmas. You can give this to your friends, your relatives that need it, or you can get started with a free trial of Ramsey Plus. Remember, Financial Peace University and EveryDollar. Just go to RamseySolutions.com/Ramsey Plus and sign up for your free trial. It's not that hard. Grace is with us. Grace is in Cincinnati. Hi, Grace. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
I am 20 years old. I am about halfway through college, and I've racked up about $17,000 in student loan debt. I am currently at the point where I am not really in college anymore for myself. I'm in college for my parents. I really want to go get my real estate license and drop out, essentially. I'm at the point where I am making about $25,000 a year to $30,000 a year, working a full-time job. I'm in a school as a non-traditional student. I'm attending online and night classes. And I'm just at the point where I feel like it's almost a hindrance to my goals, but I want to make my parents happy.
What are you studying?
I'm in business school, like business undecided, marketing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you have 2 years to finish.
Yeah, I've gotten to about 75 credit hours, and I need about 130 to graduate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How old are you?
20.
I'm 20.
Right. You still live at home?
No, I live on my own.
Okay. So your parents want you to do this. They want you to go to school. They want you to get your degree, but they're not paying for it?
No, they're not.
Okay.
Well, let me tell you, you framed this in such a way that you were trying to control our answer.
Okay.
Okay. Because you desperately wanted you wanted us to say, oh, you don't need to make your parents happy. You need to go live your life. And so you completely put that together that way. I'll go ahead and tell you ahead of time. However, I don't want you to do either one.
Okay.
I'm going to choose C, none of the above. I would finish that degree for you.
Okay.
While getting your real estate license. I've got a degree in finance with a specialization in real estate. I got my real estate license when I turned 18 years old, and I worked 40 to 60 hours a week for 4 years while I went through school selling real estate. Mm-hmm. So I did exactly what you're talking about doing and what I'm prescribing for you.
Okay.
Now, you got to go sell some stinking houses because you're going to quit your full-time job, or you're going to work a part-time job with your full-time real estate career with your full-time go to school thing. But you're going to be glad when you're 30 that you finished up this marketing degree for you, not for them or for me or for John. It's going to be valuable to you. I think, because I think it's a good field of study, and it'll help you with your real estate business. If you spend the next 20 years selling houses, a marketing degree will be helpful to you. Mm-hmm. And you'll be glad you spent the academic rigor to insert these things into your brain. But I wouldn't want you to do it for your mom, and I wouldn't want you to do it for me. I'm asking you to do it for you. It is, again, I'll tell you what I did. I'll also tell you this. Selling real estate's tough. Selling real estate when you're 20 is even tougher. And that's not me putting you down. I've just been there, done that. And when I was 19 years old and I'm trying to sell a 45-year-old or a 60-year-old a house, it was hard to have credibility with them to help them make that decision. Harder than it is when you have a 40-year-old talking to a 40-year-old. You see what I'm saying? So this is a very large transaction for someone, and they're looking at a very young person who's assisting them. So you're going to have to develop a level of professionalism post-haste.
Mm-hmm. Which I think I've gotten with my little experience in internships, not to the extent that I think a 40-year-old would have per se, but I guess my other question for you would be, I don't necessarily have the funds to be a full-time student, and I really don't want to go any further in debt.
I don't want you to either, but all this is about is work and earning. You just got to earn enough to pay for it.
Yeah. And if you need to drop down and go take 9 hours one semester, that's great.
Yeah, and you can make more than $25,000 a year, what you're making now just on real estate.
Yeah.
If you get, even as 20-year-old, right? I mean, even though you got an uphill battle, and you walk with an extra swagger, you walk with a little extra strut on your gait, confidence, poise, because that way they can trust you. But you got to be actually knowing what you're doing and also while you're doing all this. But I think you can do it. But I just wouldn't. I don't think it's an either or.
I hope you hear the wisdom in what Dave told you.
Mm-hmm.
Your ability to be against something runs out of time. You get exhausted by that. It's much easier, and the legs are longer when you are for something. You're going towards something you want, and you've turned, for some reason, and we could probably talk on this for a couple of weeks, For some reason, you've turned the idea of education as a battle between you and your parents and not as a way for you to pave the way for the rest of your life and for you to learn some new skills and you to become a ninja. You've turned it into well, my mom wants me to do it, so I don't want to. Or at least that's how you framed it to us. I'm with Dave. I'd love to see you finish. And if your school is no good, find a cheaper alternative, transfer in. You're halfway through. This is when a lot of people transfer. Get a school where you're going to be picking up some good information. But I'm with Dave, man. I want to see you work really, really hard, graduate.
If it takes you 3 years to do 2 years worth of work because you're selling real estate all the time and you're working a side job delivering Uber, I don't care.
I did that, yeah.
Scratch and claw, baby. Grind. You're 20. You got nothing but energy. You're not going to die from hard work. Right before you die, you pass out. You'll be okay.
And don't spite yourself. Don't cut your own toes off just to show somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
Man.
Exactly. Mom and Dad aren't in the equation anymore.
Yeah.
Except that they just get to cheer from the sidelines or boo from the sidelines, but that's their decision.
Yep.
That's not your decision. But you're right. I hadn't thought about that. There's a lot more energy in working for something than against something.
Always.
Yeah.
And when
you can only work against something until the anger runs out.
Well, or what happens is you solve that problem and your identity has shifted from I want to solve this problem to I'm someone who just goes looking for fights. And now I'm fighting out in the street for something that I don't really care about anymore. We're just fighting now.
Hey, don't talk about me that way. John is in Colorado Springs. Hey, John, what's up?
Hey, guys. Thank you so much for taking my call. You guys are my heroes.
Oh, you too, sir. How can we help you?
My question is, how do you appropriately ask your employer for a raise?
Two things. I'm an employer of over 1,000 people. Number one, ask how you can add value that would make, what can I do here? How can I add value to this organization that would make you die to pay me more money? You come in my office and ask that, I'll give you a list of things to do, and then I'll pay you more money because you added more value, number one. Number two, you're underpaid for an area that is very definable, and they can do an easy compensation study on that area. And you're a project, you're a PM2, you're a project manager, you're in PM2, and PM2s all make X, and you're only making Y, and you show evidence. If a PM2 walks into our offices and go, look, hey, here's a study, and we go, oh, we've already got the study, but we're ahead of you. But if they had done that in the past before we had the comp studies done, and said, realistically, people like me make this now, and what can I do to make sure that this happens here? I'm not trying to be rude, but I just want to be helpful. And we go, oh my God, you're kidding. Well, we look at it too, and we agree. Then we're going to raise your pay because we want to pay street rate on what you are, because we don't want you to leave for street rate. I'm not going to pay you double street rate just because you think your mama thought you were pretty, but I'm going to pay you what street rate is on the job. You get paid for the job, man. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Rhoda and Randy are with us in Phoenix. Says on my screen, you guys are debt-free. Congratulations. How much have you paid off?
$355,000.
What?
Woo!
Yes.
How long did this take?
4.5 years.
Oh, man, look at you guys. And what was your range of income during this time?
We started off with $85,000 and we ended at $140,000.
Excellent. Very good. And what kind of debt was this $355,000?
Oh, it was a mixed salad. It was credit cards, all sorts of credit cards. We had some fund tax debt. We had medical bills and our home.
Whoa!
Paid your house off?
Yes.
You're
Yes,
weird
we
people!
did.
Way to go,
Yeah.
you guys!
Wow.
That is so awesome. What is this house worth?
Well, we actually just looked at Zillow just recently, and it said just over 600,000.
Wow!
Woohoo! How
wow.
old are you two?
I am 41.
And I'm 42.
And you have a paid-for house worth $600,000.
Yes, we do.
How much is in your 401ks and your retirement accounts?
We have 378,000.
You're millionaires.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you have a Honda Accord in the driveway, you made it.
Yes, we did.
Wow, congratulations.
40-year-old baby steps millionaires. I'm so proud of y'all. Way to go. Whoop, 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 whoop. Way to go. All right, tell us a story. What happened? How'd you get intersected with Ramsey 5 years ago and 4.5 years ago, start on this process?
Oh, well, it's actually a really interesting story. So Rhoda and I met on a reality TV show.
Yep.
About 5 years ago. And part of the TV show is there was a matchmaker, and our matchmakers, while at a lunch one day, we were sitting down eating, and I bought appetizers, all sorts of fun stuff, and they had cash, and they're like, well, this is what we had budgeted, and they put the cash out there, and we're like, well, this is weird. Why aren't you chipping in on all this other stuff? And they're like, well, we have a strict budget, and when you get married, you share the same finances. And I remember thinking, we were dating at the time, and I was starting to sweat, thinking what would happen with my future wife sharing the same account, and the matchmaker basically looked at me, he's like, you guys got to get it together. You should check out Dave Ramsey.
Wow.
So, yeah, so as God had it, he opened up the doors. I listened to the radio, and then Rhoda was working at a church, and at the church that very week, they had a FPU class starting.
And we went, and we drank the Kool-Aid, and we've never turned back.
I love it.
Dave Ramsey, the
Financial
matchmaker.
Peace University comes through the reality show in the church. Who knew?
Yeah.
Love it. Very cool, you
Weird
guys.
world. That's incredible.
Very cool. And here you are, 40-something, early 40s with a paid-for house and your baby steps millionaires. I'm so proud of you guys. All right, who are your biggest cheerleaders outside the two of you?
So our friends Courtney and Blake, they also did Dave Ramsey, and they did the debt-free scream. They came over there. They were on our back. When we first told them that we started this program, they're like, you guys need to be on it. And so they kept cheering us on when we first started. They talked to us about like life insurance and all of that, literally like calling us to make sure we got stuff done. So they were really awesome. But also our financial advisor, SmartVestor, we got paired up with like the most amazing SmartVestor. We love him so much. He pushed us to pay this house off.
Yeah, Dave, when you say that SmartVestors need to have a heart of a teacher, our SmartVestor, Alex, he really, he held our hand. He educated us. He walked us through it. He showed us that, money isn't just green there. It actually multiplies if you do it the right way. And it was really, really cool. And he held us very accountable.
So if somebody's listening and they say, I want to be a 42-year-old baby steps millionaire with a paid-for house and everything paid off, what do you tell them the key is?
Besides, obviously, join a reality show, right? We know that.
For us, I am a first-generation African, so we have like two completely cultural backgrounds that this was just like going to be impossible for us. So I would say God first, prayer. The Bible says in Proverbs 3:5 that in all your ways acknowledge him and he'll direct your path. And
Amen.
We definitely kept our goals and prayed over them. Every time we took a step, we prayed and budget meetings. that was
big on budget meetings, making sure that you are always looking and making sure that those little dollars don't have a mind of its own, you know?
Yeah.
I think what really helped out the most, especially for me, is I believe in that whole proximity principle. Like, you keep those podcasts going. You hear how relatable, how people from grocery stores and every walks of life can do it. They could be an everyday millionaire. They can pay off all their debt, and it becomes so real. And the more we were around it, we were like, okay, this is good. And then we went to FPU
3 times.
Wow.
We did FPU Live twice, and Randy went to the Entre Leadership.
Wow. Well, thank you guys. Well, you guys are an impressive young couple. Very, very, very well done. So we got a copy of The Legacy Journey for you. That's the next chapter in your story. You're there towards that Baby Steps Millionaire thing happening. So very, very well done. And an extra copy of Total Money Makeover for you to give away for somebody who's just starting on their journey. Maybe you're going to be like those matchmakers where you'll be showing them how to do it. I like that. So
yeah.
Way to go, you guys. Very, very proud of you. You are heroes. You're very impressive. All right, Rhoda and Randy, Phoenix, Arizona, $355,000 paid off, 4.5 years. At 41 and 42 years old, they are Baby Steps millionaires. Woo! Making 85 to 140. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1.
Building just shook from Arizona.
I'm telling you, man. I think we blew some speakers out. That's impressive. Very cool, you guys. Very cool. We're getting to talk to more and more of those every day.
Can I tell you what's cool? One of the unsung heroes in that story is the matchmaker who's just living their life. This is how I do stuff. And somebody who's a real handsome guy is like, I'm going to order appetizers around the table. And they said, well, you're free to do that. This is how I'm choosing to live my life. And that's a bold move in that industry, in that setting. Everyone's trying to impress everybody. And that person said, you need to maybe.
And if y'all are getting married, you ought to be on the same page.
You should probably check yourself before you wreck yourself. That's right, man.
Be on the same page with your money. And
wow. What a cool story.
See, I'm starting to meet, after being on the air for 30 years, thousands and thousands of stories just like that that have become Baby Steps millionaires following the baby steps.
Yep.
And that's why we did this new book that we put on pre-sale this week, Baby Steps Millionaires.
Dude, I'm so excited for you, man.
How ordinary people built extraordinary wealth and how you can too. You can pre-order it at Ramsey Solutions right now. This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, Ephesians 2:4-5. But because of his great love for us, God, who is rich in mercy, made us alive with Christ, even when we were dead in transgressions. It is by grace that you have been saved. Helen Keller said, life is a succession of lessons which must be lived to be understood. No question about it. Open phones this hour. Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host. Justin is in Pittsburgh. Hi, Justin. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Dave, John, thanks so much for taking my call. Really appreciate it.
Sure. What's up?
So the reason for my call is currently 28 years old. I've been in a relationship with my girlfriend for the past 2 years, and I'm thinking about taking that relationship to the next step here pretty soon.
Cool.
She is a veterinarian who just graduated last year and is going to bring about $350,000 worth of student loan debt into our marriage.
Lord.
Congratulations. Wow.
So I guess I really just wanted to call. I've been new to the show and new to you guys, but I've been doing Dave-like things for the last 3 to 4 years, and was just curious what your advice would be in regards to how we can plan to make those repayments once we get married, as well as how we would prioritize that against other large life purchases such as a house, vehicles, things along those lines.
That's a hard one, man. How much debt do you have outside of that 350? How much debt are you going to bring into this relationship?
Nothing. Completely debt free. Been saving and investing for quite some time. I have about $21,000 in cash, $60,000 in my traditional savings plan, our TSP, and 401k, and then as well as about investment portfolio of $110,000.
Okay, that's helpful. What do you do? What do you make?
So currently this year, I just got back from a 9-month deployment. So I'm going to make somewhere around 107 this year, and then on track to make like 135 next year, projection-wise.
Okay. And so obviously you're military. Thank you for your service.
Appreciate it.
All right. Here's the thing. The number one cause of divorce in North America, money fights and money problems, money stress. You are walking into a mess. She has made an unbelievably large mess. And you guys have, as part of your pre-marriage counseling, have got to, because you have an unusually large mess, you've got to go unusually deep in your relationship and in your agreement on what our short-term and long-term future looks like. If she says, if she's going to play, and I have no idea, okay, but there's kind of two ends of the spectrum here. If she's going to roll up her sleeves and be blue-collar and go, oh my God, we've made a mess, we're going to dive on this thing, we're going to fix this thing, I'm going to work like a maniac, I'm going to work with every sick puppy in an 800-mile radius as a veterinarian. I'm going to work my tail end off, and I'm going to make $200,000 a year while you make $100,000 a year, and we're going to put your $100,000 out of your investments towards this, and we're going to clean this stinking mess up in 2 years. Now you got a woman you can marry. If she's like, oh, well, it might take us 30 years, and I don't really want to work that much. I went and spent $350,000 to become a veterinarian, but I'm not going to veterinary much. Run.
Yeah, no, she's definitely fantastic, and
I know she's fantastic. That wasn't what I asked.
So is she all in, brother?
Is she in on the work part?
She's in on the work part. She definitely. When she looks at the grand amount, our heart kind of pounds a little bit. So
Good.
I definitely think that it's something that's on the tip of her mind. But with our goals.
What branch of the military are you in?
Navy, sir. Yep.
What do you do?
So I'm in the reserves actually. So I'm a supply guy in the Navy, and then I work in the oil and gas field.
Okay.
As a program manager. So
Gotcha. Okay, this is a program to be managed. It's exactly what this is. And here's the deal. The deeper you sacrifice in hours of work and in lack of lifestyle, the faster this mess goes away. The faster this mess goes away, the higher the probability is that it's going to go away and you don't crash in the middle of it. And the faster it goes away, obviously, the faster you can go become very, very wealthy. And you can back your hours back down where you can breathe again. But both of you are going to be working like maniacs, and you're going to live on nothing, and you're going to drain every account that's not a retirement account, and you're going to throw it at this after the honeymoon, and you guys are living on a budget that's beans and rice and beans, and she's working all the time until she cleans this mess up. Okay?
And then one more thing I want to throw at you. You got capacity for one more?
Absolutely, John.
All right. You agree to this and you walk down that aisle. This is not going to be you versus her. This is going to be you with her, right? And so I know guys who like to flex and say, well, if you hadn't, and if you had, once you're in, y'all are in this together. And so the shame part's over. Then it's just y'all digging and building. It's not about her digging something out and you just standing there watching it as she digs, right? We're all in this together. Is that fair?
Absolutely.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good, man.
The problem becomes ours and the opportunity becomes ours.
That's right.
Both. And listen, here's the thing. You guys will come out of this so freaking strong.
Oh, man.
And your relationship will be so strong and your character will be so strong if you bust up into this. But if you screw around with this is a mountain and it'll bury you guys.
That's what I'm concerned about.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's got to be like game on.
And all her friends coming out of vet school are going to get new Lexus and they're going to get new houses and all that stuff.
They can all jump in the creek, man, because they're dumber than rocks. They're gonna make a mess. I'm telling you, man, you're gonna have to be so laser focused. But the beautiful thing is that's gonna knit you all together because you're fighting a common foe, a common enemy, and you're knitted together. It's gonna do stuff in the DNA of your relationship that easy times won't bring to your relationship.
Absolutely.
So it's a huge opportunity if you approach it right and you're both fully committed to it. But it's a huge problem if either one of you are going to be half-butting this thing. So you're like blaming her, or she's like going to be a little princess or whatever with a vet coat on. I mean, no, you got run away. That's the thing. If that's the case, but I don't think that's her. I think she's special, and I know you are after talking to you.
Yeah.
So I think you guys can do it. But this is the parameters. This is the boundaries by which this huge mess becomes a blessing to your family generationally. Because you'll be telling the grandkids with the marshmallows on the end of a stick someday, 50 years from now. Well, back in the day when your granny got out of vet school, we didn't have nothing. And we had to work, and we had to sweat.
I had my elbow.
That's why you're here on the back of this mountain, and we own the whole stinking mountain, and you're doing your marshmallow here, kid. This is your story, man.
And Grandma had her arm halfway up a cow's, but we got it paid off. We got it paid off.
You could have never gone there and we'd have been okay.
Hey, man, if I'm Grandma, that's what I'm pulling out. You went and played in your oil and gas. I had to go shoulder deep to get this debt paid off. But I did it.
Oh, you are wrong.
That's awesome.
Oh. Well, that's it. I mean, you got to have the story. It's like when you're getting out and you're driving a junk car, you're driving a hoopty, you need to give the hoopty a name and you need to take pictures of it.
Yep.
And it needs to be on the wall.
Never forget.
Picture the hoopty. This is why we're here.
No more.
Because we did this.
Yes.
And that changes everything. And there's nothing wrong with telling those stories. That's what families are made of that have substance to them.
That's right.
It's good stuff. And you're getting ready to build one of those, Justin. Proud of you, man. John, glad to have you on the show until the last 3 minutes. But James, good show. Laura, good show. That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus. Have a friend or family member that needs a daily dose of Ramsey advice in their life? Let them know about the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast. It's a quick hit of advice about life and money in under 10 minutes. Check out the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast wherever you listen to podcasts.